नमस्कार दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है इस शो में जिसका नाम है बैंकर से चर्चा विद आशीष कपूर। It is my privilege today to host our special guest and project financing guru, Shri Dhananjay Yellurkar ji. Welcome to the Banker Se Charcha program, DJ.
Thank you so much, Ashish. I'm really looking forward to this Charcha.
Same here, sir. Same here. I would like to quickly introduce Dhananjay Yellurkar साहब, जिन्हें प्यार से सब लोग DJ नाम से पुकारते हैं. So DJ is a project finance banker, infrastructure credit specialist, and a chief risk officer with decades of multidisciplinary experience across the financial sector. In addition, DJ is a super full marathon runner, best-selling book author, and motivational speaker too, having successfully achieved full fitness after a scary, nerve-wracking heart incident in his mid-40s at the office. Recently, on the 14th of May, DJ ने साउथ अमेरिका की सैंटियागो मैराथन इन चिली पूरा करने के बाद एक नया वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड कायम किया है ऑफ रनिंग मैराथन्स अक्रॉस ऑल 7 कॉन्टिनेंट्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा डीजे कि हाउ डज इट फील टू कॉन्कर मैराथन्स अक्रॉस एशिया, अफ्रीका, नॉर्थ अमेरिका, साउथ अमेरिका, यूरोप एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया. आई थिंक आई एम मिसिंग वन, ऑफ कोर्स अंटार्कटिका. So how do you feel overcoming all odds and overrunning, so to speak, all the 7 continents, sir?
Yeah, it feels great, really, because it has taken me 14 years to achieve this. And it's a 14 years of discipline, dedication, and being at it for such a long time. Because as you mentioned, I am a professional, so I am working, and I have responsibilities of at the home. I had to build the nest egg, and I had to take care of my health and be a professional at work. So managing all these things and find and kind of we live in a city like Mumbai where there
Right.
are no spaces for any outdoor activities as such. And marathon running is a very time-consuming sport. It
Yes.
requires a lot of time and effort. So kind of finding the right balance between work and this passion. So it feels very, very fulfilling that, to have achieved this rare thing. Though I didn't, when I started running, it was not on the agenda to do something like that.
Yes.
But one thing led to the other, and then to the other. And yes, who knew that one day when I had my heart attack and surgery, I never knew that one day the world would open up to me just because of my patience and discipline and commitment.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
been an amazing run, DJ. In fact, I wanted to ask you, can you recount some pleasant memories as well as many challenging incidents you might have faced during your runs across the world?
Yeah. See, apart from the runs, I think what I really enjoy is the training for the runs, because that's where at the run what happens is there's a lot of crowd, there's a lot of cheer, there's a lot of support, there's a lot of
Adrenaline
water
rush.
and Gatorade and all music, etc. So it is just the final point of your training and kind of discipline that you put in. It's actually when you're doing the 20-week of training. I do a 20-week kind of a training before every marathon. So that's when the actual growth happens, and not only in your physical performance, but also in your outlook to life, because nobody is going to be there to cheer you when you are doing those runs, when you have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, be there on the road alone with your own water bag, and then do kind of 5 hours of running on the streets of Mumbai, and that too sometimes in the monsoon, sometime in the summer, sometime in the October heat, depending on when the marathon date is. So I find that more satisfying. But actually, if you ask from the marathon perspective, I'm always for me, New York Marathon has been always special. Maybe New York City Marathon has been always special because it was my first full marathon. That was in 2010 November. So that was just around a year and a half after my surgery. So when I applied for it, I didn't know I was filling up the full marathon form. I thought it will be like Mumbai. At the end of the form, there'll be a tick for the full or the half.
Half
But
marathon.
when I applied it, it was only for the full, and the half was some 6 months away. But since it was on
Oh.
a lottery basis, and
Mm.
I'd filled up the form, I said, let me make the credit card payment and let me see what happens. And yes, a couple of months later, I got an email saying that I've gotten. And that was when the challenge started, because I would be only on Google trying to find out if there are any person who has run a marathon post his bypass and
Mm.
heart surgery and heart attack. So I
Right.
could find none, meaning there are very, very few examples. So there were no guideposts as such. So when I trained for it also, it was difficult. And because I'd done only half marathon before that, that too after 6 months after my surgery. So full marathon was a big leap. But New York was special because of that. It was my first time, and my entire family had come to watch who is this freak who is
Special.
trying to run this marathon. So
Mhm.
I had a lot of pressure because I had to perform in front of everybody. So that was, and yes, I ran. It was fun because New York, there were a lot of crowd support. It feels like as
Absolutely.
if it's a carnival, and there are so many people on the roads to cheer. There were people offering food, beer, everything. There were so many bands playing. It was like a something different experience also, because I'd run half in Mumbai. And there were like 55,000 people just running the full marathon. So
Wow.
it was like, it was a big, big event. And the holding area itself, there was like helicopters buzzing all over. And when they said athletes, please come to the start point, I thought, my God, a non-athlete like me is finally there. At the,
Mhm.
but it felt good. But yes, I was a marathoner. So there was a placard there at the end, one of the people was holding like, pain is temporary, but pride is permanent. So
Wow.
that was very
Absolutely.
true for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks so much,
So
DJ, for sharing that. I mean, it's really, really commendable how after the surgery. In fact, my next question was, can you shed some light on how post the health crisis, as you mentioned, post the heart attack and the cardiac surgery episode,
right.
what changes did you have to, make both at the physical level and more so mentally on
You're
the
right.
mental changes, mindset changes you had to make as well
Right.
post the surgery?
Right. For me, it was a bit more challenging because I had my heart attack when I was 46. So, and I had the heart attack while at work.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that it was a heart attack. It was just a lot of body pain and a lot of body bloating. So I did go to the doctor first.
Right.
In fact, I was on a project in Indonesia when I was started feeling very sluggish
Okay.
and very kind of downbeat. So in fact, I was traveling. I came back. Went to the doctor. He
Mhm.
told me he must have eaten something outside, so you have a stomach kind of, you are bloated, you are feeling
Post
very
reaction.
gaseous.
Right.
So he treated me with antibiotics. It subsided, but
Mm.
again it came up, and this time, whenever I had something to drink or eat,
Right.
immediately I used to start get a lumpiness in my throat.
Mm.
So I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know it was related to a heart kind of a thing. So I knew that something was fishy there.
Mm.
And we were to go as a family. It was May, sometime in May 2009. Yeah, it's 14 years now. We were to go on a holiday to Dubai, to my sister's place. But I know I was little wary because I went to the doctor again saying my arm is hurting, my left arm is hurting. So he told me, you may have spondylitis. You are driving the car improperly. You're jerking your gears while changing them. So get an X-ray done for spondylitis. So a neck X-ray, cervical X-ray.
Right.
So I went. So I was driving. So in fact, that night before, I had at work. I had a lot of body pain, and I came home, and it was like, I told my daughter to apply Iodex and slept off. And next day morning, I went for my X-ray. I was driving the car. and I took I did the X-ray. Then I on a spur of the moment, and I'm so thankful for that. I listened to my body. Otherwise, I would not have been here actually. So I told, let me do a stress test
Right.
on my own. So they did the stress test, and within a minute or two, they stopped. They said your signals are all inverted. You had a heart episode in the last 24 hours. I couldn't believe it. I was driving to work. I had no clue that it was a heart attack. They told me to go to a hospital, Lilavati, to do a TROPT test, which is a test to confirm whether you had a heart episode, and then take it forward from there. So I was really in a state of shock, but I couldn't believe that it was happening to me. Anyway, I went to and got the test done, and of course, it confirmed that I had a heart episode. That's when I
Right.
called my wife, etc., to the hospital because nobody knew where I was at home, etc., that what
Right.
was happening.
Yeah.
And then we went to other hospitals for getting second opinion. And yeah, we went to another hospital, Asian Heart, and I did my test there, angiography, and it
Geography.
confirmed that I had 5 blocks and I had to get into a surgery. So before I realized, the next day morning I was operated. So after that, it was a little tough mentally also to process this thing that it has happened to me. So
Right.
Asian Heart was the medical partner for Mumbai Marathon. So
Right.
when I joined the rehab program there were a lot of flyers, and they do train people for a dream run, like a
Mm.
6 7 kilometer run.
Yeah. Mm.
But I thought, let me do something much more than that, and let me do a 21 half marathon just to feel good about myself,
Mm.
so I was ready to put in a lot work for that, and I'm mentally ready to do whatever it was to make me feel good about myself.
You have recounted your experiences and this whole journey, beautifully in your first book, Fuel for My Journey.
Right.
And it has become quite a bestseller in its category as well. Can you share your thought process on, writing the book, and experience of just being a first-time author?
Yes. It I I always wanted to, because like when I started on my journey of long distance running, especially the marathon journey, not the half marathon, but the full marathon journey,
Mm.
I felt there were not many people there who could kind of be guideposts to someone who is looking to do something like that. Because whenever I went to the doctors, my doctor, of course, the cardiac doctor was very good and supportive, and so was the rehab doctor. But wherever I went, I've seen that most of the medical fraternity does not kind of push you to do beyond what is
The
there.
bare minimum.
They
Mm.
kind of, yeah, the thing is they want you to slow down and take it easy and follow a diet and do the basic minimum exercise. And basically it means that, now you have to be very careful, very kind of controlled, and you take your medication, you eat this thing, and you do a little bit of walk, and that's about it. So I was not ready for that because I didn't want to at that age. I didn't feel it was I could do something like that.
Mm.
So and I don't blame the medical fraternity for that because they don't really know how the patient will behave when they are outside and when they are running or something like that or doing any endurance related activity. Finally, it's a reputation risk for them also. If something happens and then the media, everybody will be behind them as to look, this doctor told him to run and he went and had a whatever. He had another kind of an episode. So generally there is a lot of reluctance. So I wanted to really kind of, leave behind a story which can let people take their own decisions and make them understand what the body is really capable of doing. And if a person like me, a working professional, a non-athlete in a city like Mumbai, where the weather is so difficult, where there are no spaces, can do full marathons in all 7 continents, and anybody with any physical ailments or who is kind of in such a situation can really aspire to do that. So that was the basis for the book. and it's a memoir from my ICU to my. It is only till the sixth continent because I wrote it
Yeah.
during the COVID times,
Mm.
and now I hope to write another
Second.
chapter and add an addendum to it.
Wow, wonderful. I just love the book, as well as its amazing cover. That is you running in the white continent against the backdrop of the snowy Antarctic mountains. Could you show us a copy of the book? Yeah, there it is. Wow. Is this, where is this photograph taken actually, DJ? Is this near South Pole or King George Island? Where
Yeah,
is it?
this is at the glacier. It's Union Glacier.
Okay,
That's a part of Antarctica, which
right,
is in the Chilean airspace of Antarctica.
right.
So the mountains that you see behind on the cover. That's the mountain range there, and the tallest mountain of Antarctica is at there, Mount Vinson. So
Mount
this is at
Vinson.
the base of Mount Vinson,
Wonderful.
at
Thanks for
something called
something called
the Union Glacier.
Union Glacier. And staying on the topic, how does one get to Antarctica? You said you either take a ship and sail across the seas from Chile or Argentina, or can you even fly down there?
Yeah, yeah. See, there are a couple of marathons in Antarctica,
Okay,
but like two of them are on the coast of Antarctica. So
okay,
for that, you have to take the ship from Argentina
right.
and go there. So
Mhm,
that's what most of the tourists do, because that's where you get to see the penguins and the whales, etc.
mhm.
But my marathon was not on the coast, or some of the marathons are off the islands of Antarctica also, where the ship goes. Mine was in the interiors of Antarctica, closer to the South Pole.
Wow,
So we flew from a place called Punta Arenas, which is the southernmost tip of Chile or
Chile.
South America, and
Mhm.
we take a military aircraft, the logistic aircraft,
Okay,
and which carries the goods also with it, and it lands on this blue glacier.
right.
So basically, Blue Ice Glacier it's called,
Okay.
and then there's a camp set up nearby, the Union Glacier camp, and we run there. And yeah, and there's food, and it's like a good camp, with all the facilities. Because a lot of people go to the South Pole from there. There are people who do mountaineering from there. There are people who take the kind of they walk to the South Pole with their sledge. So
Right.
all kinds of physical activities, adventure activities happen there. It's during the summertime, that is, I think, from December to January.
January
It's
in the summer.
24 hours daylight,
Right.
but it's like minus 15, minus 20 degrees. So it is kind of, we were supposed to be there for 2 nights though.
Okay.
Go there the first night
Right.
and then run the next and then come back. But
Right.
unfortunately, during my time, there was a blizzard
Right.
and the kind of weather deteriorated there. And
Mhm.
because of that, since it is there's no navigational aids for the aircraft to land, it has to be done only by sight. So they should be seeing the glacier, and the it should not be very windy at Punta Arenas for it to take
Right.
off, because it's a very heavy military logistics airline kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah,
Thank you.
we got stranded there for 7 days.
Oh, my God. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing that, DJ. Coming back
yeah.
on the work side, I wanted to ask you about your specialty and work specialty and passion, that's managing risks in infra project financing. What would you say are some of the key financial or business elements that financing institutions look for in good, infra projects?
Right. I work with an institution which is basically a refinancer.
Right.
So we do not take under construction risk,
Right.
and the project is already financed. So we step in at the time when it's like COD plus one. It is at
Right.
least 1 year of operational history.
Right.
So our risk are basically operations risk, like how well the plant is doing, and some market risk. Whether if it's a discom, if it's a power, it's discom. If it's a road, it's toll, etc. So those are
Right.
the two major risks, apart from, of course, structuring the loan, etc.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
our Yeah, so my role is basically to be looking at from the risk side of the for the proposals,
Right.
and mainly uh, we do infrastructure projects as defined by RBI. So it's solar, wind, transmission, kind of hospitals,
Yeah.
airports, etc.
So what are the key skill sets required, you would say, for being a good project finance professional?
Yeah. So there are two major skills. One is, since it's a very specialist field of
Right.
infra financing, and there are a couple of key sectors there, like renewables being one, and transmission, or it could be roads, etc. So you need to understand the sector because there are a lot of regulation. Some of them are state subjects, some of them are national subjects. The tariff, the regulations, what is happening, and it could be modules, it could be wind turbines, technology that's changing in, and finally we are giving a very long tenor. We are looking at a very
Right.
long tenor product. So there are technology changes, there are tariff changes, there are regulation changes. So all these nuances need to be taken into account when
Right.
we are structuring the loan.
Sure.
So apart from the financing aspect of, DSCRs and cash flow financing and all those kind of structures that you put in to safeguard the lender, it's also we need to understand the sector nuances, and also from the legal side, because
Right.
finally project finances is mainly we are relying only on our agreements to safeguard ourselves, whether it is security or whether it's cash flow control, etc. So yeah, those are the main
Right.
components, I think, that one needs to have when we are looking at infra financing, project financing.
Right, sir. Thanks for that. One final question, quick question, sir. For a consummate finance professional like yourself, what is your personal money and investment philosophy? Do you invest in traditional equity debt products, real estate, pension funds? If you can just, guide us
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. I do invest in equity
Right.
and in debt also, uh, but it has been a lot more in equity. And I take very long investing calls
Right.
because I've seen the benefits of it, because my family has been investing for a long time. So I still hold some of the blue chips which I have got as a legacy from my grandfather. So
Oh,
I really appreciate the long term, that the kind of value that it has created. So I truly believe in that. So when I'm
great.
investing, I'm a little more careful or biased towards uh, more reputed companies. And now that since I'm in a role, I also look very careful at the governance aspect of those companies and how they are structured, etc. And debt, of course, is there in the form of FDs or NCDs or something like that. And
Great.
I also have certain PMSs, etc., certain gold portfolio, etc. Real estate is there, but it's mainly in the form of InvITs. I
Yeah.
look at, and because I understand infra, I am also looking at InvITs and REITs, etc. Of,
It's very
but I am not into physical property as such.
right. A very well diversified portfolio. Thank you, DJ, for sharing your valuable thoughts and indeed your entire life experiences. आपका बहुत बहुत
Thank you so
धन्यवाद.
much.
आपका बहुत बहुत
Thank you.
धन्यवाद डीजे. आज के लिए इतना ही
Thank you.
दोस्तों. आशा करता हूँ कि आज की ये चर्चा आपको पसंद आई. आप इस वीडियो को शेयर करें और चैनल को भी सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि आने वाले कोई भी आगे जाके वीडियोस आपसे मिस ना हो जाएं. अगले एपिसोड में फिर आपसे मुलाकात होगी एक नए चर्चे पर, एक नए विषय पर. तब तक के लिए धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया, आभार, थैंक यू. जय हिंद.
Thank you so much.